Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's been a while. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to finally catch up to our makeup. I got my little Starbucks with me. I got a little half a bagel, cream cheese. So excited to get into the questions you guys asked and just like catch up and have a little girl time. We have some good questions to answer. How do you deal with judgment from your cultural family? So like for me, I feel like growing up, I was like really raised to like care about like what people think. And I think one of the biggest like lessons that was ingrained in me when I was younger was this stupid idea. And I remember at the time I thought it was like so brilliant, but it was the idea that like your reputation lives on forever, you know, even after you die, like your reputation lives on. And like that's something that I like really believed in when I was younger, you know, that was like really ingrained in me. And as I grew older, like I felt like I had to unlearn a lot of shit that I was taught, you know, like when I started realizing what's real and what's not, and like what is worth keeping in your life and like what's not, like all of these different ideas and like what is actually gonna benefit you and what's not. And like that doesn't stand with me anymore. Honestly, it's so stupid to me now. Like the idea of like your reputation, it's just not real, because like a different version of you exists in like everybody's mind, you know, like a different version of you can be in someone's mind, and then a totally different version of you can be in somebody else's mind. And like living your life to try to like sustain a specific reputation in everybody's mind is, in my opinion, just a complete waste of life. Like you don't know what's gonna happen to you tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow is gonna look like, how long your life is. And like this is your life for you. And it's like, for me, I don't want to waste my time like trying to think about and act a way for like other people to like have this persona of me. Like so many people actually, it's fucking crazy. So many people actually think that, you know, like perception is everything, and like what people think of you is like everything. And it's honestly like it's not. For me, I could care less. My mom was calling me. Hold on. So yeah, back to the tea. So how do I deal with like the judgmental cultural family members, people, whatever? So a lot of my followers are actually Albanian, and inevitably I get a lot of like judgment from the culture, you know, like that's just what comes with kind of like putting yourself out there on the internet, you know, like even though I obviously don't put everything on the internet, like people definitely have their idea of who I am and the life I live and all of that. And their judgments inevitably come. And I feel like for me, I just have like a good idea of what it is that life means to me, what I want out of it, and like a layer that I've built to kind of filter out like the judgment, you know? Because what everybody, if I paid attention to like what everybody says about me, and like if I really took it to heart, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, you know? I wouldn't be able to just like continuously share my life on the internet. So I feel like what really helps me is like the idea that I have of my life and what I want, but also like the people that I have around me. So like my family, like my parents and like my side of the family, like I definitely grew up like with a lot of judgment. And it's still there, you know, people's ideas of how I should live my life and what I should do and this and that, like, are still very vocal in my life. But, like, my partner, who's my husband, like, he just doesn't give a shit. He does not care. Like, he does not care, like, he doesn't care what people think, or, you know, like, he understands that, like, this is, like, our life. And as long as, like, we're okay with, you know, like what we're doing, like that's all that matters. Like we're not trying to live our lives for other people. Someone asked, how are you so positive? I'm like really happy that this is even a question. I'm happy that like people feel that I am positive, because honestly, like when it comes to creating content and like just giving you guys something to watch. Like, the last thing that I would ever want to do is like give you down negative energy. Like, that is not my intention, and I hope to God it will never ever be my intention. I felt like with my content, when I was kind of getting a clear vision of what it is that I wanted to do and like what I wanted to be known for and all of that, like, my biggest passion has honestly always been people. I just always have loved people, even when I was younger and like when I was going to college and trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do for a career and all that, and all the jobs that I've had. I never knew what I wanted to do, but I just always knew that I loved people. And like that passion still continues now that I'm a creator. And when I was getting clear on my vision, I just wanted to give good vibes. Like that was it, you know? Before I became a creator, I was obviously a consumer, you know, and I was reflecting on the types of creators and like influencers that I would follow at the time. And at the time, honestly, like, I tried to be very specific with the creators that I was following, and like, because I didn't want to just follow anyone, you know. If I was going to support someone that didn't even know that I existed, I wanted it to be someone that I get something, you know, in return for following them, you know. It's like a transaction in a way. So I would seek to follow influencers that were positive, that were uplifting, you know, that when I watched their content, I would be inspired, that I would feel good, you know, something like that would spark something in my day, you know. So now that I'm a creator, I just always wanted to be true to myself, and like, my name literally means light, and I feel like that is like my calling in life, is to spread light and just spread love and joy and just like have a good time, like be a good vibe, you know. Like, I'm obviously not always happy in my day-to-day life, like I'm not always like feeling amazing, you know, but if I'm gonna get in front of the camera and speak to you guys and like, you know, like rub something off on you, like, I want it to be a good time. Like, I just want it to be like vibes, like, you know, like whatever it is that you get from watching me, whether it is some type of inspiration, you know, like a smile on your face, you feeling like you're on FaceTime with your friend and just like hanging out with your girl, like, I just want to give something to you. You know what I mean? My most asked question is about kids. And it's like, oh my goodness, like, how did I know you were gonna ask? It's not funny because honestly, like, that has been such a topic these days. So let's get into it. Let me tell you all it hate. Oh my goodness. Okay, so literally, legit, I was talking about it with Yoni, and we, for like a good month or two, we were planning on like starting to like try to have a baby, like in June. Like in June, we were planning for me to get pregnant, like literally. Like, we were almost so sure that we were gonna like start trying and be parents. Like, we were gonna want to be parents. That's fucking crazy. It's such a big ass decision. So we were like, okay, we had a date because we wanted a summer baby. So we were like calculating the days. I was talking about it with my sisters. I literally told my mother-in-law that I was gonna start trying soon. My mother-in-law is itching to be a grandmother. Like, she is itching. So she was really excited. Like, everything was set in a way. And then I just got like cold feet, and I was talking about it with one of my sisters, and she was basically saying that like, when you know you are ready and you really want a baby, like, you are set. Like, you and him will both know, and it's not gonna be back and forth. Like, you're just gonna know, you know. And that's how I always felt about it. I felt like when it's time to have a baby, like, we're both gonna be so sure. So she was like, if you're going back and forth, like, it's not the time. Like, it is not the time. And I felt like I really had to hear that from her. And when I heard it from her, it was just like my biggest sign. And I was like, that's it. Like, there's no way that we're gonna try to have baby like this round, because I got like such cold feet about it. And I don't want to be like, oh, I want it, and then I don't want it, and I want it, and I don't want it. You know, I don't want to go back and forth on it. Like, I just want like a lingering, I want to feel like a true like need in a way, like I don't know, something that I'm not feeling now. I want to feel when it's time for us to try to have a baby. So I was like, yeah, no, this is not the time. Like, I don't know what motherhood is gonna look like for me, but I know that it's gonna obviously change my whole life, and I can never go back on it. Like, they're here to stay, and I just want to be so sure. So I'm not, and I'm just gonna not even think about having a baby right now, honestly. So the reason why I was like really thinking about it and it was like really sticking out in my mind so heavily is because I'm obviously already married, right? Like, I'm in a place of like support. So like, if I was to get pregnant tomorrow, like, I would, God willing, nothing changes. I look actually crazy right now. I would be able to have a baby like pretty blessed and like comfortably. The biggest factor was time. You know, like, time you could never get back, and I was just thinking about like being a younger parent, you know, like just choosing to have a baby like sooner than later, because you know, you'll always make more money, things will always change in your life, you know, but time you can never get back. So it's like, why, if I can have a baby right now, like, why push it, you know? So that's like the thing that was really kind of making me think that like I should have a baby sooner than later. But my indecisiveness and like going back and forth on my baby fever and like what it is that I want, and like talking with my sister, just made me realize that like right now is really not the time. I just want to experience some more things in my career, and I want to experience some things like in my spiritual growth, and I just want to be like the best version of me possibly before I have a child, before I bring a baby into this world. Because you know, like, your kids end up being like you, and I just want them to have very happy, healthy, well-rounded, balanced parents. I just want to be the best person that I could be before I raise a child. Like, it's only a baby for a year, you know what I mean? Like, that baby is a human being and is going to grow up, and there's just so much that comes along with it. Oh my goodness. So yeah, what's really been like heavy on my mind is thinking about how I'm gonna be when I'm a mom, and how that's gonna affect my career, in the sense of, you know, like, I love watching baby content and like family content and stuff like that. I personally love to watch that as a consumer, but as a creator, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. I feel like there's a very good chance that I'm not gonna want to show my baby in social media. Like, I'm not going to want to expose them. I'm not gonna want to show their face. They're just such a fresh piece of life, and with thousands of people looking at them and watching them, you know, that energy definitely transmits, and I just don't think I'm gonna want to expose my baby to that. So it's hard, like, it's really difficult, you know. I don't know how I'm gonna feel until I'm already there, but all these thoughts are already going through my mind, and I don't know what it is that I'm gonna be comfortable with. But right now, like, I feel like that's a very big possibility. What type of tips would you give to someone who wants to start doing yoga? Aw, that's such a good question. I'm so happy you asked. So I think it depends what type of yoga you're interested in doing. So there's like the westernized yoga, which is very popular in like the United States, like, you know, like hot yoga and like the types of yoga that you do in like yoga studios. That's not the type of yoga that I do. I do like deep spiritual yoga. So like the type of yoga that I do is meant to manipulate like your life's energies, and like direct them into a certain way for you to be like more of a balanced spiritual human being. Depression and anxiety are so common these days, too common, and it's only gonna skyrocket more and more. So anything that consists of, you know, you taking care of your mental health and your body, and just like you feeling more like connected and calm, and, you know, like just more balanced, do it. Whether that's yoga, meditation, like exercising, like just taking care of like your soul and your body and your mind is so freaking important. So whatever it is that you're interested in doing that can help you in those areas in your life, just do it. How are you so confident? I'm so glad you asked, my sis. I'm so glad you asked, because the girl that I was a few years ago, I would have asked the same thing, and I would have wanted to know the tea on this. Let me break it down for you, my sis, because it wasn't always like this. It was not always like this. In fact, this is a very new thing for me, like in the last couple of years. It all comes down to learning who you are, learning about yourself. You have to know who you are. I believe you have to know who you are in order to truly be confident in who you are, right? It makes sense. So like, yeah, sure, you can fake it till you make it, da 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 da, like you can try, but if you genuinely want to be a confident person, you have to know who you are. So I feel like after I've kind of like gone through my wave of like different relationships and situations and like ups and downs and whatever, when I finally wanted to be by myself and then I met my husband and all that happened, I learned so many things about myself. I learned about, you know, like my faults, my good, the things that I love about myself. I think are like the most important parts of this topic. Like when I learned, you know, the things that I love about myself, then I knew what it is that I wanted to highlight. Then I knew what it is that I wanted to highlight to the world in my conversations, you know, in my interactions when I'm present online, like, you know. So it really goes down to like taking a second to like reflect in who it is that you are. Not in like who you want to be or who people think you are or whatever, but like who you really are. And then you can tap into what it is that you want to be. And then when you kind of try to exercise those characteristics that are in that person that you aim to be, then you have like a good understanding of like how to be. Because you know who you are, you know who you want to be, you see the characteristics in both, and you know what to present, you know what to highlight. I feel like the ways that I show confidence is when, like, I walk in the room, I'm up. I'm looking who's around, I'm smiling at people, I'm making eye contact, I'm making it known that, like, my presence is there, and I'm happy to be there, and I'm happy to talk to you, you know? Like, I used to be, like, kind of like a mean girl, you know? I grew up in the Bronx, like, I had to be like a little bit of a hard shit, you know, like to like really protect myself. But I live in Westchester now. I don't gotta protect myself that much. But even honestly, like even if I lived in the Bronx, whatever, like, you know, you gotta be like that in the street. But like when you are interacting with people, when you want to show your confidence, you just like, you know what it is already. You know who you are and you just like know what to highlight. So eye contact, sitting up straight, talking, making it known that you're there. You don't have to be so loud. You don't gotta be like a rah 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 rah, you know, like even though I'm rah 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 sometimes, you don't gotta be like that. You can totally be like quiet if you want to be quiet. You can be whatever it is that you want to be. Just be comfortable. Be comfortable in who you are. But the key is to know who you are. Do some self-reflection. Take a look at yourself. You know, spend some time alone. Kind of realize who you are. And then once you have an idea of that, then you know what it is that you want to present to the world. I'm doing my favorite part. My lashes. Literally, like, roll over. I swear I love you so much. I love this. This is by Roll Over by Benefit. So freaking good. Like, and people are like, yeah, but you have long eyelashes. Dude, I've used mascaras that will literally make me look like I have 2 eyelashes, and they'll be like that. Like, just because like you have like a decent length doesn't mean that every mascara is gonna do it for you. And this mascara, I swear to you, is like so freaking good. It's like my favorite. It's my favorite. I've tried to have other favorites, but this one is always my favorite. Okay, let's wrap it up with maybe a couple of more questions, like maybe 2. Do you still make your lip oils? This is an OG follower. You have to be an OG follower if you dead ass like remember this. I appreciate you so much, dead ass. So in 2020, I came out It was like a lifetime ago. I came out with like my own beauty line, and I was making organic lip oils, and they were such a fucking vibe, bro. I had 3 different flavors: pina colada, strawberry daiquiri, and limerita. They were organic. They had fruit inside. They smelled like the names, you know, like the strawberry smelled like the strawberry. And they were in glass bottles, bamboo like lids, stainless steel roller. It was just such a vibe. I literally created them with so much like love and intention, and it was one of the best experiences ever. It was so fulfilling having my own business and just like really creating something from scratch. Like I was literally like formulating them in the kitchen, and like my in-laws would be helping me, and I literally like I would have everybody wear gloves, and like we would go through the sanitation process, and like it was just such a vibe. It was such a special thing, and I'm so grateful for the experience. But no, I don't make them anymore. I don't. It was Drita Beauty. So cute. It was Drita Beauty. That was the name of the brand. And no, I stopped them. I don't have the brand anymore. Like I don't sell anything from the business anymore. I just realized that like I had such a passion behind, like the vision was like to create skincare and like just cosmetics that were organic and like really good for you, because a lot of the shit that we put in our face has like terrible ingredients, and we don't even know about it because there's so many different types of cosmetics. Oh my god, I'm so sorry I had that in front of your face the whole time. But when I was trying to expand, like when I was trying to make other products other than the lip oils, because I felt like it was time after some time to have new products in general, I was looking into manufacturers and like them getting made for me, and I learned so much about like the process of getting something formulated. Like it's actually insane how you can just tell them you want the same formula as another brand, and they'll literally just give you the same exact formula as another product that already exists in the market, and then they'll just put your label on it. Or if you want like something else, like it was very expensive. And I think the most expensive thing for me was the minimum amount of order quantity that you had to like order with every product, and I had no place to put them. Like I didn't have like a facility, I just had my home, and I couldn't store them, and it was just very expensive. And I just made the decision that like I can't move forward with this anymore, and it was really hard to make that decision. I literally cried and cried about it. Like it felt like that was my baby and I was giving up my baby, but it was an amazing experience. I didn't lose money like from, you know, doing it. Like people, you know, usually like first time businesses, like they fail miserably and you lose a lot of money. Mine failed, but I didn't lose a lot of money, thank God. I think it made me realize that I definitely see myself as a business owner again down the line, but something else, not in beauty. Like it's just too saturated, it's just too much, and I don't have like the resources or the the drive to do it anymore. So if it's another business down the line, it'll definitely not be cosmetics. Okay, the last question that I'll answer is there anything that you would have changed about your wedding? This question is actually very common. It's been like so asked since my wedding happened. I had a lot of feelings about the wedding and like leading up to it. I went through a lot of like shenanigans and just like a lot of fraud shit. I feel like a lot of, you know, there was a lot of situations where I felt like people were not professional. People did not like meet their expectations as being like a specialist in the bridal industry. You know, people trying to take advantage of me. Everything is so freaking expensive. Me changing my mind on certain things, and it was just a lot. The wedding planning process was so much. It literally drained my soul at a point. I couldn't wait for it to be ready, and I really did. I mean, I couldn't wait for it to be done, and I really didn't want to feel like that. I wanted to like enjoy it, and I think that I kept reminding myself to enjoy it so much as it was happening. Just like fuck the stress, just like enjoy your time and your process, because this is only gonna happen one time in your life. And because I kept reminding myself that, and especially on the wedding day, everybody was saying that like their wedding day went by so fast. So on the wedding day, I was literally like checking in with myself like every hour. Like, just soaking everything in and just being so present so that it didn't feel like hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent for fucking nothing. You know what I mean? And all that time and energy planning it. But looking back at it, there's nothing that I would have really necessarily changed. I think maybe the only thing that I would have changed was maybe my dancing. That's a little specific, but so what I mean is like my sisters are older than me, you know, they got married, and like my side of the family, like every time like we would have like a wedding that we would go to, like the bride would always be like very like modest, and like the dancing and the way that they would act, there was just like a lot of cultural pressure to be some type of way as a bride. And like I hated and I loved it, but I did love it, and I kind of wanted to keep some of it for my wedding. So I loved like some of the modesty that I kept from my wedding and the ways of acting. I remember saying I was a modest bride in my TikTok, and like my cleavage was out, and all of the comments were like, bitch, you were not modest. And I didn't mean in the way that I was dressed, I meant in the way that I was acting. So like the part of the modesty that I loved was we didn't dance right away. Like we kind of made an entrance, we went all around, and then we went to our table, and then we were standing, and we had like all of the guests, well mainly our bridal party came over and like danced and sang Sa Bukar Nakadal Nusia, and like just like that. I loved that. I really did. When it was time to like finally dance, I couldn't move so much because I had a huge ass veil, and my sister was telling me keep the veil because you're gonna change your dress anyway, so just keep the veil and have that be the whole, you know, have that be like a moment. And I totally understood it, but then when I replayed it, I thought I was moving pretty fast, but when I replayed it, like when we finally saw the videos, I was moving so slow, and it was because of the veil, and it was because I was trying to keep like that like angelic, like modest, like I'm a bride, like, and I wanted to be like a traditional bride in a way. Like I wanted to be like you know, like if you guys know what I'm talking about, like over 10 years ago, like the brides, they would just be like this. They would literally be like this. My oldest sister, she stood like this the whole time, didn't even dance until like she was ready to cut the cake at the end. Like she did not dance. She was like this. And a part of me loves that. Like a part of me, like the cultural part of me just loves that, eats that up. Like I grew up with that. But then like, you know, like I also want to dance and enjoy my time, but like I just didn't see myself being like a crazy bride, like, you know, really getting down, jigging on the floor. But I wish that there would have just been a little bit more of a balance with my first dress. Maybe taking off the veil and just like being a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more loose, because I literally, every time I was moving, like I had someone to come in the back of me and like move my veil, and like for me to like not be, you know, in it like that. So I feel like that's very specific, but that's honestly the only thing that I would have changed. Maybe considering taking your veil off when you are you're dancing on the floor. That's about it. But other than that, I was very happy with how everything came out. Honestly, I admitted so many times that I didn't even want like a wedding, like a big one, you know. I wanted a very intimate thing. And I was so against it, but then one of my family and his family were like, no bitch, we're Albanian, we're having this big wedding. Like, are you joking? You're the last girl and he's the first boy in his side of the family to get married. Like, you think you're gonna take this away from us? I was like, okay, fine, whatever, like whatever, I'm here to, you know, I'll put on a performance. But then when I saw like all of the footage and like the videos, I was so happy that, and I feel so blessed that I was able to have that big wedding, because that footage is gonna live forever. You know, that footage is gonna live forever, and I'm gonna be able to share these moments with my kids, and it was so beautiful, and it was just, I'm just so grateful that it happened. So if you're considering maybe not having a wedding, maybe have a little wedding, but it's expensive. It's very expensive, so I don't know, actually. I don't know, everybody's different, but thank God I had mine. I'm very like grateful at this point that it all happened. That is it. I wonder how long this is going to be. Oh my god, if you stuck around this whole time, I love you. Thank you for hanging out with me. But in all seriousness, like, I just want to end the video by saying that, like, I don't want to get too emotional, you know. We get emotional sometimes. I don't want to get emotional this time. But let me just wrap it up by saying I never really saw this life for me, you know. I felt like when I was trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do with my life, like career-wise and all this, like, I never saw this. I never saw this. I just knew that I loved people and I wanted to, like, give something to people. So for those who watch me and who hang out with me and who support me, I just genuinely, like, from the bottom of my heart, I mean it when I say, like, I'm so grateful for you and I'm so happy and blessed that, like, you're here and you're hanging out with me. Like I said before, I just want to give something to you, you know, whether it's something small or something big or whatever. And I know that I do, because of the DMs that I get and the messages that I get. It's the most fulfilling thing that I'll ever do. Maybe being a mom could be a little bit more fulfilling. They say, you know, it's crazy. But I genuinely believe that this is, like, the most fulfilling thing that I'll ever do. So as long as I give something to you, I am so happy to continue doing this and to just be out here trying to spread good vibes, trying to spread light, trying to spread love, sharing my life, being your friend, you know, just hanging out. So just thank you. Thank you so much for seeing something in me, seeing yourself in me, wanting to be friends, you know, all that good stuff. And I hope that I still will always remain to give you something in return. I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing day. You are blessed today, tomorrow. Life is good, no matter what, ups and downs, highs and lows, you know, all of these things. Just remember, everything is happening for you and not against you. It's not happening to you. Like, you're meant to feel it all. You're meant to feel it all. Don't try to avoid shit, because it's gonna come. It's gonna keep coming for you, sis, until you address it. So just be out here, live life intensely, fully, beautifully. You out here. We out here. I love you so much. Mwah. Bye.